Oh yeah, baby! I'm told we're live. YouTube tells me we're live. So yeah, why don't we celebrate? Let's celebrate with some cherry coke. What better way to celebrate an amazing day than cherry coke? You get me through, baby. We'll sit around, talk some bollocks, transcribe some of the incredible Stephen Taranto. Bit of a, how would we put it, clickbaity title. There's no need to fact check Stephen Taranto. He is legit by all accounts, not just from the perspective of what my eyes and ears tell me, but also from the perspective of being vouched for by lots of my peers and players that I respect and look up to and admire. So yeah. Really, this is an opportunity to shine a bit of light on him. Not that he needs, a light shining on him from little old me. The reason I'm doing this is every month on my Patreon page, we do a transcription challenge. 150 patrons now, which is absolutely awesome. And some of those guys, they transcribe the monthly challenges and they submit them for me to look at and to give some feedback to, or on, I should say. And this month we were looking at modern kind of Instagram guitar players. So I wanted to draw attention to Stephen Taranto because obviously he'd copped a bit of pressure, shall we say, from Jared Dines. So if a bunch of my subscribers and patrons discovered Stephen's playing because of this, then this is well worth my time. Well worth it. Fantastic. So Stephen Taranto, also another gentleman I forget the name of, did a wonderful slide guitar rendition of Sir Duke, the Stevie Wonder tune. That was really cool. I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'll be doing that at the end of the month, though, as usual. That'll be next week. Stephen Taranto and also Manuel Gardner Fernandez. I suggested people check his playing out because while I did do a fact check on him and demonstrate that he's miming in videos, I tried to be very clear. He's a great player. He's an awesome player, and I want people to check his stuff out. So, Stephen Taranto, that is who we will be looking at today. So again, those of you unfamiliar, Stephen Taranto, name is in the title. Forgetting words left, right and centre. We are looking at, so Isaiah Hubert is going to be disappointed by this. We are looking at the Instagram compilation number 3, I think. So, yeah, sorry to disappoint. I'm not hugely familiar with his playing, to be completely honest. He's someone that Jack Gardner was talking to me about. We were checking out some of his videos. Obviously, Jack is more familiar with his playing. This whole, the Instagram scene, it's not something I'm particularly active on. And the shred thing is way out of my wheelhouse now, as you all know. It doesn't mean that I don't take an interest. It just means that I don't devote quite as much time to going and looking for exciting players like I used to when I was younger. And that's kind of fun, actually, because it means that now when I do go and look at them, I can get volume coming out of my ears, can't I? And put my microphone up. Hello. There you go. I can hear myself now. It's cool because you get to discover players like this when you have all these long breaks from the shred scene, if you like, and you're introduced to these players that just have technical capabilities way beyond your comprehension of what's possible, or certainly what's likely. I'm 31, so I grew up idolising the shrapnel era shredders, and of course we used to all look at that and be like, whoa, this is as good as it gets. And then all the Chops from Hell guys would come along. That Texas scene really kind of took off, and there's some incredible players in there that just took things to a whole new level. And yeah, obviously I didn't become one of those guys. I didn't become one of the faces of technique on the guitar, if you like. Not something I ever tried to do, but yeah, it's something that I definitely took an interest in. So to see all these young players now coming out and doing things that are just, influenced by and then steamrolling ahead, I think is super fucking cool. So yeah, and I'm all about shapes of lines. So the thing I really dig about Stephen's playing is checking out the direction that his note choices go. It's the reason I've been transcribing so much Frank Gambale just recently, because again, he has an interesting approach to the way he constructs his lines. So if we, as transcribers, this isn't a job that I'm doing for anyone in particular, but as transcribers, the main thing that I'm looking to get from things that I transcribe is inside the player's head, right? I probably won't absorb all that much of this because it's so far removed from what I do, but if one or two little ideas soak into my rock or shreddy playing when I do that type of thing, then I'll be extremely happy. So I am just going to do the plugs. Big thank you to my supporters over on Patreon, and again, we are celebrating reaching 150 patrons. I have 150 patrons. That's absolutely incredible, guys. Thank you so much for that support. There is a link in the description if you want to check me out on Patreon. You can do so for as little as $1, and it's a great way to support the channel, and it's a great way to join the community. It's a great way to get involved. My private Facebook group is just full of guys, and we even have girls in there now, which makes me even happier. I'm an all-inclusive community. You are welcome in my community, and we'd love to have you. So yeah, check me out. Link in the description. Little as $1. Cool. Also, if that doesn't appeal to you, then please do go and check out one of my books. I have been recording audio all day. I've been in about 7 different tunings, recording slide guitar. What am I doing? The book is 100 licks for slide guitar. And we will release that, and then just shortly after that we'll do a compilation of my 3 slide books as one big chunky compilation for maximum value. But anyway, that will be out early January. Super excited for that. I'm really proud of how that one's turning out. So yeah, Levi Clay, Amazon, check me out, have a look. Right, let me read some comments and then we'll get on with some transcribing. So Brett, good old Brett, how's it going, man? It's been a long time no speak. Brett's the man, tells me all the stories of what's going on at Berkeley. Ryan, how's it going? Upside down, you are here. You've caught many live transcriptions, many streams, man. That's why you're an admin. Cristiano, how's it going? Nick, hello. Taranto is great. Nick, quickly becoming the king of modern shred. Yeah, I'll give him that. He's a great player. There are tons of guys like that, right, that are just outrageously good. I really like Jacob Zaiteki. He's just fabulous. Beautiful player. Lots of taste, lots of flavour. Jesse, hello. Always a pleasure to catch the stream. Always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. You're still not related to Paul, though. Bon Jovi, hi. Second video has some of the most bonkers playing I've ever seen. All of his playing is absolutely bonkers. Operation Proof that Paul Gilbert is my dad update. His management team has informed me that I have a lifetime restraining order against me. I'm just joking around. Everybody, I'm not harassing Paul Gilbert. You mean you're not harassing Dad? Oh, Brett, man. Richie Allen. Oh, what a player. What a fucking player. Yeah. I wish he'd hurry up and put a new record out. Sir Shreddles a lot. Yep. And the studio is looking great, sounding great. I can do this now, and you don't get like tons of echo of my claps bouncing around the room, which is awesome. And you know how that happened? From all you wonderful supporters over on Patreon. So again, thank you very much. Sergey Golovin. I have only seen a couple of his videos, to be honest, because, as I say, it's not a scene that I'm hugely plugged into. I checked out some of his videos when Jam Pack Central Packs came out, I believe. And he does the tapping. He uses the thimble. So anyone that puts time into that, that's all good. That's all good in my books. So yeah, I guess that's the problem with all these players like this, right? They've got all of these incredible techniques and fluidity to their playing. What I'm really craving is for them to be used on something, right? I want to hear original compositions. I want to hear music. I want music that I can have in the gym or music that I can listen to when I'm driving. And I'm not saying that these guys don't do that. I'm just saying that's what you need to do to kind of grab me and pull me in. What's the name of that guy? Hang on. This illustrates my point perfectly, right? So there's, I forget his name, Russian guy, plays Sir, or at least he played Sir for a very long time. I'm not sure who he's playing now, and he played with Impact Fuzz. I'm sure the band was called Impact Fuzz. They had a record called Moscow. Why can't I remember his name? His first name, I'm sure it begins with A, and his surname begins with D. I can't think what his fucking name is, but that illustrates it, right? He's a great player. So when he put some music out, he had a like Scott Henderson style thing that I really dug when he first kind of broke out onto the scene. But then the Impact Fuzz album came out, and he started doing all of these solo things that he was putting on Jam Track Central and things, and it just didn't really grab me. Musically, it didn't sit well with me, and so it was someone that I just sort of lost interest in. That's not to say I think ill of his playing or anything. I just want I just crave actual musical output that does something for me, and when someone does some sort of musical output that doesn't do anything for me, I don't get shitty about it. I just go, cool, good luck to you. I'm going to keep looking for things that grab me. So Golovin is probably could fall into that category, right? Fyodor Dusumov, that's his name. As soon as I saw Fyodor, I knew, Fyodor Dusumov. So it's not A. His first name isn't A, but the surname is D. So he's a great player. Awesome player. But yeah, I just need musical output, things that grab me. So want to see what guys like Stephen Taranto are actually doing. So right, let me keep reading. Was Houch secret to good sweeping technique? I don't know. You'd have to ask a good sweep picker. How am I going to mount my guitars with the sound panels up? So the guitars, the mounts that I have, the Hercules hangers, I've been sent a bunch of hangers from Strings and Things, my friends over at Strings and Things. They fit between these panels and they stick out far enough so the guitars will be in front of the panels. I can grab actually one of these. I've got toggle mounts, spring-loaded toggle mounts that will go through the walls and then ping out, and then when you tighten them, that grips onto the wall. I just need to replace the actual screws now, because these screws are 90mm, which is fine for going through all the layers of wall and gripping, but they won't go through the hanger and then the wall. So I'm going to need to upgrade or replace all of the actual screws in these toggle fixings for what did we say? Like 115 millimeters. So just get some M4 115mm, replace all of those, 2 for each hanger. That will hold them in place nice and tight on the wall. So that's the answer to that, Jesse. I should check out Colony. Brett, send me a link. Do I ever try the Boss JS10? Can't say I have. Which one is that? Let's have a look. Boss JS10. I don't even think I've seen this thing, to be honest. I don't keep massively in touch with the technical side of things. The technical. Let's go technical. Guitars excite me, but technology probably a little bit less. I was just sent from one of my contacts over at Ibanez. I was just sent the catalog for 2020, and there's an embargo on it, so I can't post a video showing you stuff in it until midnight on the first of the year. I'm really, really looking forward to doing that video though, because I can talk about all the exciting, cool-looking guitars. There's actually one that I really want. So, and now I've got all the prices for them. I look at that and I go, maybe I'll pick up one of those in 2020. Spoilers, it's one of the Tron signatures. So yeah, I thought they were really cool. So technology, maybe little bit less. What do I think of multi-effects units? Define multi-effects units. I have a Kemper here, and I use my Kemper for recording most of my audio. It has effects on it, but I don't use a whole lot of them. I like my pedal board. Let's go with that. I'm going to butcher this. I'm very sorry, but hello, T.O. John G. Darren, what is new? What is new, mate? The lights still work. That's something. And this cough, I'm getting over it. It's almost gone. Almost gone, but not quite. Okay. Right, let's do some work. So, I've got Stephen Taranto up on the left side of the screen, loaded up in Transcribe. Cool. He's playing one of those Abassi. Is it what, the Larada? Nice that somebody managed to get one. I was told that Jared Dines managed to get one, and Tosin said, well, Jared was one of the first people to order one. Jared Dines doesn't order guitars. You are a liar, sir. Or at least I think you're a liar. The other thing I'm kind of interested in looking at with this is Troy Grady. He talked about Stephen Taranto a few times, and he's under the impression that the videos are sped up, just based on his area of expertise. Is a lot more technical than mine. Mine's musical and sound, whereas he is an expert in video. So he said when he slowed these down, they looked a little bit more natural to him. The hand movements looked a little bit natural. It doesn't affect me one way or the other, but I'm looking forward to talking about that. And somebody else pointed out in this particular clip, yeah, you can see it, and I don't take issue with this. You can see here there's a cut, like a literal cut where there's no sound. And my friend, who will remain nameless, said that to him that's that's a sign of this being fucking hell. That's a sign of this being sketchy. I don't know. It's cam audio. It's recorded on a phone, and shit happens. Would be what I'd say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, load up. So I'm going to put this in 12/8. It'll definitely look better on the page in 12/8. The Boss BR80, pretty cool for practicing recording while travelling. Petrucci bought a bunch of them for practice, put them all over his house. I like that allegedly side of things. How much was he paid to say that? Do I have that sickness thing that's been making the rounds? I've been sick twice in the last month, so maybe. Isaiah, this tab will be downloadable for my patrons. Looking for a good chair. What am I using? It seems comfortable. This is the Secret Lab. This is the Secret Lab Titan. I'm not sponsored by them in any way, shape or form. I didn't get a discount on the chair. I tried. I tried to get a discount on the chair because they're relatively expensive. But yeah, no, they weren't interested in working with me, and that wasn't a reason to not buy the chair. I set it up, built it, sat down on it, and went, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. I sat on it for like 10 minutes, and then I went back to my old chair. That one, the IKEA Marcus. And that was instantly uncomfortable. And then there was like a 2-day period, it was maybe less than that, maybe a 2-hour period where I thought I didn't like this chair. It's wonderful. It's just wonderful. It's such a comfortable chair. I just wasn't used to what comfortable is. Nick Harrison, a friend of mine, said, never cut corners when it comes to buying a chair, a bed, and shoes. And I can get on board with that. So, yeah, big fan. Hugh Law, you are very welcome, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in. And Upside Down, thanks for the link. Keep sharing. -7 #5, what's up, dude? I hope you got that Gambali transcription. I sent it over earlier. Hugh Law 1, I'm a guitar teacher myself. Find my videos really inspirational. Would love a Skype session with you soon. Well, there's a link right above you to my Patreon. You can get a Skype session on there, or you can hit me up outside of that, and we can do that anytime. Yeah, Darren, sped up. I was going to raise the issue with John to be honest. But it's also, honestly, it feels like a half issue rather than a full issue. That's the whole problem with this like fake guitar playing thing. Like, too many people are now getting involved with it and like just pointing the finger at everybody, like, he's a faker and he's a faker and he's a faker. And I think it's really important that you take a step back and you focus on the why it matters. There are definitely cases where it matters, and there are cases where it doesn't really matter. So yeah. Did I look? I just read that. Is there a regular schedule for guitar solos? Whenever me and Mike can do them, it's every 2 weeks. We have we're sponsored by Ormsby, and part of our deal with Ormsby is that we put out a show every 2 weeks. Because Mike works shifts, when we record every 2 weeks, flutters a little bit here or there. But between Monday and Friday, at some point, every 2 weeks, you'll find a guitar solo show. Armrest covers might not be a bad idea. Anyway, let's take a look at this. So, for anyone wondering, I switched the time signature to 12/8, and the reason for that is if you look at what he plays. This is a phrase, right? Just that. You could repeat that. That's another sign to me that this isn't faked and sped up, because rhythmically he does speed up a little bit. Now that's our phrase. Da ba 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 da ba 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 ba. Okay, I skipped the note in there. But you get the idea. That's the phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 notes there, and then that idea repeats in a different position. And then it switches into something that doesn't really fit as neatly in the 12/8 format. But you can see that we've got this very obvious 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, da 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 da. Get the idea. So, Darren, I understand the perspective you're coming from, but John doesn't like. I think he's using a video of the type of people that are drawn towards riff hard. To me, that's the way I personally see that, because John doesn't need to use videos of other people to sell We Riff Hard. He can use his own videos of him playing, and he's awesome. So yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, so we got the phrase, right? Ba 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 ba. Let's just do that. Ba 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 ba. First note is a hammer on. And then ba 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 ba. There's our basic phrase, right? There's your basic melodic idea. Oh, you know how I feel about solfege. Jackson guitars. I can't say I'm a huge fan, not because I dislike them, but because I don't have a whole lot of exposure to them. Doug Cartwright has a beautiful Jackson soloist. Did you just have the one Jackson? I think he's just got the one Jackson. It's one of his, of his guitars. It's one of my favourites that he has. Really nice, interesting neck profile on it. But I've never really been drawn to the Jackson stuff. So there's that first phrase. Now we've got the same melodic contour, if you like, but just applied to a different position. I mean, that is expertise of a different level, isn't it? He hits the 9th fret with his little finger and then the 9th fret again with his index finger and absolutely nails that transition. Another sign this isn't faked. That note there, he scuffs the fuck out of that. You know, it's not flawless. You can tell what he's going for though. Now that that's very like Andy James, Paul Gilbert, that particular phrase. To my mind, that is also kind of an insight into how you come up with a line like this. Very cool line. You would play something like that. Certainly learning Andy James stuff, Paul Gilbert stuff, you are going to learn things like that. And then it's almost like he's reverse engineered the pattern. So he took the pattern here and then worked out a different, how to play it in a different fingering pattern. Now this is more stretch pentatonic stuff, this particular grouping here. And then reverse engineering it to there, you get this super cool intervallic idea there where the stretches and the closer cluster intervals. Very cool. Singing tests. Any ideas for not too expensive digital amps which work with an audio interface? I bought the bias effects too. You dislike it? You mean like plugins? It's a difficult one for me. I use Easy Mix if I need something like that. I've got the Metal Masters packs. I really like the Devon Townsend presets. But obviously I use a Kemper for most of the stuff I'm doing. So yeah, it's a little bit harder to decide. There are plenty of plugins that I want to try out. Most notably the Nolly, is the Archetype Nolly plugin. I hear really, really good things about the Pliny one as well. But it's a hard sell. It's a very hard sell for me because I have a Kemper and I have really nice amps in a space that I can record in, and I have a 2-notes torpedo if I want to run an amp direct in. I've got all these options for sounds, so spending a lot of money on a piece of software that I won't use very much is a tough sell for me. Anyway, let's keep going. That's cool. No. Stretch pentatonic. Now if we wanted to put picking directions in here, his picking is very consistent. He's playing it like that. That's a big stretch. You can see where he plays that. That's nuts. Gets up to 22 for that. What's he play there? That's all hammered. Let's have a look. I like your efforts and research you put into your videos and streams. I had to distance myself from all the call-out culture. Absolutely. I don't find what you do to be gotcha type sensationalism. Absolutely. Like, I only talk about the things I talk about because I'm interested in the scene, and I like talking about the scene and informing and educating people. Having said that, if you if you are okay with a bit of call-out culture, Caelan Hughes, I'm sure it's Caelan Hughes, just uploaded a really, really good expose on Rob Chapman. Hopefully that helps with the cough. Oh, sorry, I missed your comment, Stephen Austin. I bought a cheap dinky for about €150, savage finish, tuning issues. New locking tuners help. No, I tend to find that even cheap tuners stay in tune relatively well. You tend to find that your problem areas on a guitar like that would be the nut. Yeah, so as Darren points out, where the strings are freely moving through the nut, so something like nut sauce or graphite from a pencil helps to lubricate that nut area. That tends to be a place you get caught a lot, and you'll find that, especially with Floyd Rose's tremolos on the guitar, if you use and abuse that trem, it's almost like the strings either slip too far through or slip too far pulling back, and like on my Sir Guthrie, it was funny with one of the strings until I lubricated the nut. It would get caught on the B string. No matter what you did, you'd always be a little bit sharp after abusing the whammy bar. So what you would have to do is, after abusing the whammy bar, you would have to depress the whammy bar all the way down and bring it up again quickly, and that would kind of slip the string out of the area that it had been caught on, and it fixed everything. So yeah. What Kemper do I have? I have the rack-mounted profiler. Rage Gamer UK got my fingerstyle book. Love it. Got any on some Sean Lane style licks? No, I don't touch the Sean Lane stuff. Do I find it difficult to transcribe players that play laid back? Nope. Oh, so solid tail. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a cheap guitar, so I would imagine a better nut would help significantly. Now this is not really in time. Nope. He doesn't play 14, does he? He does. Oh, that works. Damn it. So that fits nicely. So I'm just going to make sure I get this in the right place. What does he tune to? How do I want to put this? It's not 12 at this point, you know. Let's hit the opening. Let's get an appropriate tempo. I'll put it in 4. It's right. Which one I'd put a different tempo marker in. That'll do. I'd probably take that tempo marking out. It's just I don't like the way they look when you put them in. But lick one, cool, done. Let's read some comments. Get an expert to do it, Stephen. Yeah, I know what you mean. Minor 7, sharp 5. Like, but the beauty of music is like there's enough time to have and do both. Yeah, I can listen to this, take ideas from this, and then I can listen to something else and take ideas from something else. So, plenty of time. No, Charvel was to Jackson as Epiphone is to Gibson. No, Charvet is to Charvel as Epiphone is to Gibson. Charvet. Now in this one's definitely more about the line, because there are some shifts in rhythmic. What do the? I was going to say rhythmic subdivision. It is rhythmic subdivision. Yeah. So, upside down, dude. You are just too fucking generous, aren't you? You're just constant generosity. I appreciate it. You know you support me on Patreon, though, right? So, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Yeah, I'd write this in 4/4. It's gonna stay in 4. Same basic idea, not the exact. Four notes on the B string. Shove it. Bob. Did you play that? Oh, of course. You hear that whole tone descending, Nick. Ba 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 ba. That can't be right. 9 to 15? It is, yeah. Did he hit 9 there? 10? Now Now this rubs me up the wrong way. We'll talk about this in a second. Let's read these comments. Rage Gamer, I also play Vigier. Got the Black Sparkle Bumblefoot. Don't have a clue how he plays that turnaround solo, like you mentioned. I know how it's played, but I can't play it. Charvel was made by Fender in the Mexico factory. Taranto is playing reminds me of a YouTube guy called Keith Wallen. That name rings a bell. No, he's not faking. Marvin, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. This particular part here rubs me up the wrong way for a couple of reasons, right? This is pitch versus video, right? Audio versus video. You can hear here he plays ba 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 da ba ba. Now that note is at the 10th fret. That note is at the 10th fret. That's not up for debate. But you can see he plays the 12th fret. Now, how can we justify this? How can this be the case? How many strings is he playing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 string. He could have it in drop D. It could be in drop D. That's what we could say. I'm going to just put a circle around it. A mute ghost note. But now we'll find out because he plays more notes. Yeah, okay. Okay, so he's detuned. Yeah, okay. This makes sense. This totally makes sense. Really annoying because I can't. You can't change tuning in Guitar Pro, so I'm going to have to put it as a second file. 7-string overdrive. I'm just going to change the tuning on the track. It's like he's got a drop D guitar. Don't know what his low string is tuned to. We'll find that out, I guess. Do that. Do that. Oh, why did you have to do that? All right. Standard. Keep fingering. There you go. And then I'm going to put it in drop D. Keep the fingering. Then go in and yeah. Yep, ghost noting it up. Ah, why did I do that? That's what I wanted to do. No! Oh, that does make sense. Hang on. So, Greggy, you're saying that he's in drop D. He's in drop D, but he's playing 7-string, right? The previous example, he's not in drop D in that. He's tuned B, E, A, D, G, B, E. Previously, earlier, someone commented and said they love the amount of research that I put into my work before I do things. I could have done a bit of research, right? Uh, oh, there's... he hits that, doesn't he? This is scuffy. Favorite WWE superstar, past or present? I mean, I'm wearing a Miz shirt. I thought I was wearing a Mick Foley shirt. I was going to say Mick Foley. Now this... that's scuffed. He doesn't make those two notes. Damn it, why do my ears not fucking work? Ba 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 ba. It looks like he sweeps here. Or not. Ba 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 ba. Did he play that there? Yes, at 19. Ba ba ba. One of those idiosyncrasies. No. Ba 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 ba. Why can I not hear? Okay, cool. Like I say, not worried about the rhythmic variation, rhythmic subdivision changes in this. Let's just put it somewhere where people can learn something from it. There's a note in there that annoyed me. Is that it? Ba 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 ba. Yeah, he does play that. Ba, 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 ba. Cool, that'll do. Let's call this Taranto 2. And we will call this one Taranto 1. Right, what's going on? Oh. You probably can't hear that, can you? No, just me. I touched my MIDI keyboard, and evidently that's hooked up to my Superior drummer. My keyboard started playing drums there. Right, let me read these comments. Got to update the channel logo to account for the sick bit. Yeah, good idea. Got his tab book from Sheet Happens. Only 2 of the songs use the 7th string, tuned to A on one and B on the other. Okay, cool. The other's 6th string in drop D for every song. Cool. Okay, that makes me sound. That makes me think that I'm sane. Jesse, Mankind in particular, or just Mick Foley. I always like seeing Cactus Jack make an appearance. Well, it has to be just Mick Foley. Cactus Jack didn't have a whole lot of appearances in WWE, and then the few times that he does make an appearance, they have a lot of impact. So Cactus, cool as shit. But Mankind also cool as shit too, right? Dude Love, not so much though. Okay, cool. So, new lick. So he falls a little bit out with the metronome there, but we assume we're doing that there. Richard, how's it going, dude? We will go back to Taranto 1 for this because he is playing 7 string in standard 7 string tuning. Any stuff on the weird Buckethead style tapping? Doug Cartwright is the man to talk to about that. Doug Cartwright is he's great at that type of thing. So this is a cool lick. There's a crossfade between 2 tracks here, which makes hearing exactly what's happening yeah, that's it. Pull off to the open B. This cool line. Again, timing-wise here, he's a little bit off. So another surefire sign, he's not a faker. Fakers do things more clean than this. Because they're not real. Where does he play that? Actually plays that there. No, rhythmically he changes now. Accelerating, group of 5. There's 6, is it? Oh, itchy leg. Ah! Oh. Yeah, Daniel, definitely classical inspired lines. Group of 5 again. Does he play that there? Ah. Now we got a tricky little fucker. Do I know any good pieces of practice to help with that style that translates well to this stuff? Learn. I like the Bach inventions, the two-part inventions. I think are cool for this type of thing. Though they're obviously very baroque. If you go into like Chopin lines, Taranto's definitely got some of that in here. Some of the more angular lines, the whole tony type lines. So Chopin. How does he fucking play that? I don't like that. He's not playing that there. Surely. Okay, I can get on board with that rhythmically. It makes a little bit more sense now. Does he play that there? It's just too mad. You can't hear what he's doing there. Does he go up to 20? Not hitting 20 there. You just this too messy to say with any certainty what's happening there. So I'm just I'll ignore that just for now. This is going to drive me insane. So he's not going to be playing that there. This is a 6. So what would he be doing there? Would he be doing that? This is driving me insane. Justin, thank you very much, dude. You are one of the awesome ones. I mean, you're all awesome. For those unfamiliar, please go and check out Justin's channel. Justin has a killer channel. He's a great player. A great player. Too good, some might argue. He deserves more subscribers. I mean, you can see... Yeah, 12. That makes more sense. Yeah, it's that. So we've just got 2 notes to deal with before that. I'm going to put that there. Just put the right tempo marking in. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's go 135. So, let's not put a layer in, let's just put lick 2. So the lick is... That should play in time with him, in theory. If I play that along, that should play in time. A little bit slower. One, 4, 4. That's pretty cool. The JMad 1 finally caught a stream. My vocalist how come on, he was in your class in high school. My condolences. No, I kid. And there we go. Upside Down posting a link to Justin's channel. Please do go and check him out. What time is it? It's 1:10 in the morning. Oh, don't want to do more. So I'll bring my face up and talk bollocks to you for a minute. Yeah, let's do that. Need a fucking shave. That's what I need. I promised myself I'd deal with all my emails tonight as well once I'm done with all of this, because I get a ton of people asking about transcriptions, and then I can't just ignore them. I've got to deal with these fuckers. I like work. I like having things to do. It makes me feel valued. So, come on, guys, distract me for a minute. Ask me some questions. Unless it involves me picking up a guitar, because I can't be asked with that. I've not actually put all of the sound panels up yet. I need to. I've still got 3 bass traps that need to go in the corners. I just need some sort of risers to put them on, because of poor planning of plug sockets, which I've put right in the corners. So I need to mount them so they're above the plug sockets. Yeah, I'm familiar with Emil's playing. He's a great player. He's a really good player. Really, really good player. I would probably consider doing a month of challenge on him, transcription challenge on him. Darren, am I taking time off over Christmas? I never take time off per se. I have enough time off just during the week. Just doing fuck all most of the week. If there's work to be done, I'll be doing it, is my way of looking at it. I have more events happening during the days. Like I'm going to Marcus's parents' house tomorrow night for Christmas Eve. The Dankula family. I'll be dressed up, suited and booted, in a suit that looks like a Christmas jumper. Literally a suit that looks like a Christmas jumper. So go and spend some time with my adopted family. Drink lots of whiskey. That's Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, we have to head over to my mother and father-in-law's, and we will stay there and hang about there for a bit, which will be fun. Boxing Day, I will probably get back to doing some work, because work is important. Just a little bit during the day, and then I will have. I see something I can talk about. Just a little bit during the day, and then I misread it. A little bit during the day, and then I am having family come and visit. In-laws again, as I've mentioned, not in touch with my family. So I won't be seeing them over Christmas, thankfully. Assholes. What else? I think that's it, to be honest. Then I'll be cracking straight back on with work, because I've got plenty to do, which is nice. So, yeah, a little bit of time. Same with New Year's. I'll go over and see Sue and Marcus for New Year's, because I'm too old to go out and get steaming. The J-Mad, absolutely love the TTM saga via Guitar Souls. Great series, love watching it. Yeah, no real news in the TTM camp. Just waiting for Lance to be federally indicted. Just watched the Chapper's hatchet job you mentioned. Certainly seemed well researched. Yeah, not as well researched as it could have been. I really wish that he had reached out to me to ask for information on stuff, because I know loads of inside stuff. For example, the Rob Chapman post where he was talking about suing people and naming and shaming them, etc. Who was that about? So yeah, I know this stuff. I did my A-levels, right? Worth it. Thank you for the awesome contento. Stay safe. Yeah, of course I did A-levels. I did A-levels in, obviously, music and music technology. I was lucky or unlucky, depending on which way you look at it. I lived miles and miles away from my college. There was no way for me to get there, get back and forth to it, other than the bus that ran once a day. So I would be on that bus, and it took me all the way to college. And it's not like I could go home during the day. So and because I did really well in school, my college said that I could take more A-levels than the average person took, because they thought I could handle the workload. So I did A-levels in music and music technology. I did physics and chemistry. I did maths. I ended up dropping out of maths. And I did English language. So physics, chemistry, English language, maths, music and music technology. And I dropped out of maths because it wasn't that it was too hard, it's that it was taking up a lot of my time, and I wanted to devote more time to music. You know, teachers at college probably thought it was insane that I wanted an extra hour or two per day to sit around in the music department and study and practice and shit. But you know, it was all worth it. Would I go through the pain in the ass of transcribing Alan Holdsworth solo? Yes, if it's paid well enough. Sunnybird. For songs you've already transcribed, are those available at the regular price or discounted? Malmsteen or Gambale solos you've already done. I have a discounted rate for stuff that I've already done. Do I like Brandon Ellis? I'm not actually overly familiar with his playing, Brett. I know the name, but not familiar with his playing. Favourite distortion pedal? What have I got on my board? Oh, the Rev G3. Jesus, that's a... I don't use a lot of distortion pedals because I have amps that do great distortion. The Rev does great distortion. I use an overdrive pedal a little bit. Like I use the Wampler Paisley drive is one of my favourites. I also have the JTK Harmonix Alchemy pedal. That's a really cool pedal. I really dig that. Really dig that pedal. But the Rev G3, whew, you just plug that thing into a Fender amp, like my one over there. Oh, you can't see it, chair's in the way. And it just gives it, ridiculous overdrive, ridiculous distortion. So big fan. What was the result for the fact check for Stephen Taranto? Does he speed up his videos or not? You know, I talked about this right at the start, man. I will never comment on whether or not someone speeds up their videos because it's not something that I can confirm nor deny, right? I'm not a video expert. I'm an audio expert. Having said that, there are enough rhythmic inconsistencies and scuffed notes when dealing with this stuff, and things that aren't as pristine and perfect as you would expect for someone that is recording at a slower speed and speeding them up. So I don't think for a second that this stuff is sped up. Also, as I mentioned again at the start, there are too many people that are good friends of mine that I respect that know Stephen and have watched him play in person, and they all say, Jesus, he's really that good. So if Jack Gardner says someone's legit, then they're legit. Simple as that. So definitely fact checked and passed the test, but we knew he was going to pass the test. A transcription of Emil's FPE YouTube clip would be really cool. Post that. This is where I have to plug, right? I want to do a lot more of these, okay? I want to do a lot more of these live streams. Picking a random video on YouTube, bringing it up, transcribing it, right? I will be taking suggestions of things to do from anyone. But it's hard for me to keep track of them. So, mind my halo. If you want to send me that video clip, then do your best to. There are lots of ways to contact me, just posting it on my Facebook. But if you check out my Patreon for as little as $1, link in the description, that'll get you into my Facebook group, my private Facebook group, and you will be able to post links in there, and that's easy for me to then go and look for, find all these things. Finding things is important, right? Keeping track of all the things that people are interested in. So certainly be interested in checking it out. Who is legit speeding up their stuff out there? Couldn't tell you. Could not tell you. Am I familiar with Mike Bloomfield? Yeah, absolutely. I did a column. I'm sure I did a column on Mike. Yeah. So, one of the other things people forget is I've been writing for magazines. And for the longest time now, Premier Guitar. I've been writing for Premier Guitar since... I don't even know when my first column for Premier Guitar was. Is there a way to check this? Yeah, 2013. I've been writing for Premier Guitar Magazine since February 2013. Wow, so that's like six years? It'll be seven years next year. And I did a column on Mike Bloomfield in May of 2016. Oh, that clip's been taken down. That's no cool. No cool. No good. So you can check those out, and I have, there's all tabs for all the stuff. So. That's, some of Mike's more outsidey stuff that he does. Here's a more traditional blues. Get the idea. So, Mike Bloomfield, probably my favourite Chicago blues style player. Major influence how I play. He uses a whammy. You can just overbend the hell out of the strings. Why use a whammy? Sorry, yeah. I've not done a video of a pedal board build. I am a nerd, yeah. Nerd is schmexy, yeah. I mean, my wife thinks I'm terrible. Yeah, I know Connor. Absolutely, of course I know Connor. We were talking about his upcoming release on the Guitar Souls podcast. So yeah. Yeah. Right. Do I transcribe more? Probably not. What do I think about Rob Chapman now that he got roasted? I mean, I thought Rob Chapman was an absolute fucking bellend for, well, I was going to say since 2014 when he threatened to sue me. But long before that, 2014 was just the first time when he realised that I thought he was an idiot. Robert Baker, how's it going, man? How is it going? Yeah. Really enjoyed that video, by the way, the Strat History video. Strat History, yeah. I have not seen Slipknot's new video. Wow. I would, I'd bring it up, but obviously I'll get a copyright strike for it. Am I familiar with Johnny Highland? Oh boy, am I familiar with Johnny Highland. I have transcribed my fair share of fucking Johnny Highland over the years. You can find the info on the Guitar Souls thing upside down. Can you post a link to Kalen Hughes' video? His channel's KDH. Let me pull up a Johnny Highland transcription. Because why not? I've got a huge archive of transcriptions. Barnyard Breakdown. Actually, we did a... When did I do this? 2013 I did Barnyard Breakdown. We did a Johnny Highland month on my Patreon group a long time back. This is a Barnyard Breakdown. So that's kind of cool. His self-titled album has is the track's name Gatton to It? I'm sure it's called Gatton to It. Let's have a look. Here's where you find out it's not on Spotify. Yeah, Gatton to It from his 2004 self-titled album. There's loads of really good tunes on that album, but Gatton to It is I absolutely love that. Yeah, really like that. I'm a big Danny Gatton fan. For those unfamiliar, you've seen my. I'm a big Danny Gatton fan. My main guitar is a Fender. Well, it's not a Danny Gatton model, but it's modified to be like a Danny Gatton clone. So yeah. Anything else? Anything else people want to talk about while I'm here? Or am I going to have to go and deal with all these emails? Hate emails, they're the worst. Johnny Highland, Frank and Barley never looked like they'd find their playing difficult in any way. They was driving sixth gear, yeah. Rob getting pissed off in the comments of that video, to me, proves everything that Kalen says about Rob and everything everybody already knows about Rob, and that it's that he's a fucking egomaniac. It's the same as like when he threatened to sue me in 2014 because I posted on Facebook saying that I thought he was a slime ball. Like, essentially, like that wasn't exactly what I said. I didn't even name him in the post. It's just everyone knew who I was talking about. He was just so triggered by the fact that there was someone out there that didn't like him. It was 2014. Like, no one knows who I am now. Can you imagine how fucking insignificant I was in 2014? But it was enough to, send him into a fucking meltdown. And Kalen's channel on YouTube is tiny. That video has 2,000 views. It's just a non-issue. Like, it's a non-issue. The fact that you would watch it and then say that, such a shame that you'd make a video like that, sticking the knife in right around Christmas. Thanks. Like, what do you mean sticking the knife in, man? Are you insane? It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's one guy's opinion. It's Kalen's opinion. But the reason he doesn't like it is because he'll see that people comment on it, and he'll know that people watch it, and he'll know that some people might agree with some of the things that Kalen says. And the only conclusion of that is people out there might not like you. And he fucking hates that. So, yeah. I told Kalen when I saw that comment, I said, dude, just pin it. Don't respond to it. Just pin it. Danny's where the term cutting heads came from. Nightmares about his dreadlocks, yep. I don't plan to check out Rabeer's signature bare knuckle pickups because I've got the bare knuckle pickups that I know and love. But, if Rabeer's going to put his name on them, they'll be great because he's a great player. -7 #5. I have a good question anyway. How would you approach... Well, I'm not going to be doing a guitar lesson right now, but I'll give you an answer. How would you approach combining note groupings of 3, 5, 7 and 9? I can combine 4 and 5 note groupings of 4 and 3, but combining odd ones, hard, make it feel natural. Yeah, again, like I can give you all of the typical academic answers. I mean, 3s aren't that bad, right? We play triplets all the time. Groupings of 5 is hippopotamus or university. Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. Ha. Groups of 7 would be anti-disestablishment or go to university. You just got to be real good at doing 4s. That's going between 4s and 7s. Like if you practice that enough, then you'll get that. And 9s, you think of them as being triplets within triplets. So you've got your da 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 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you just take that triplet and you put a triplet on each of those. So da 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 da. That would be how you get your groupings of 9. To be completely honest with you, though, I don't think anyone plays groupings of 5s, 7s, and 9s deliberately. Like, you think of guys like Sean and Gambali doing it. Yeah, they did it, but it's a nature of the nature, should I say, of cramming notes into beats. It would be what I'd say. I was such a weird bloke. I knew there was something wrong when he took a Bob Marley haircut here. I watched your video and it made me sad. You've misrepresented and spun so much about me and my business. Right. Chapman's better at business than playing guitar. Yeah. Yeah. Do it. Fucking Streisand it, mate. I think it's hilarious. Brett, you've noticed that Donald Trump speaks in perfect fourths a lot. I like the fact that you're talking about like distances between pitches, ba 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 ba, with a perfect fourth. But actually, now what I really want someone to do is I want someone to upload Donald Trump speeches to YouTube and pitch shift, like double the track and pitch shift the second track up a fourth, so he's like speaking in harmony. Yeah, Academy. I spent some time doing some conical. Yeah, a lot of time practicing conical. The thing there, minor 7 sharp 5, with like Sean talks about it. Sean talked about a lot of things. Sean talked about like being accurate, but when you slow his stuff down and really go into the detail and minutia, if you compare him to Stephen Taranto, Taranto's cleaner. Like Sean, when he went real fucking fast, like it got pretty messy. Yeah. Anyway, what did I? Some of my tattoos. You can see all of my tattoos. I plan to do a video on this at some point. This entire arm is Binding of Isaac stuff. I'm going to bring myself up on screen just so I can see myself. This entire arm is Binding of Isaac stuff. When I say that, I've got a Super Meat Boy there and Dr. Fetus there. Big Binding of Isaac thing there, and a Binding of Isaac stained glass window there. There's a Dream Theater tattoo there, but we don't get that one out. I have this is a snake, in a hand. I just wanted a tattoo that went really high up my neck. This side is a crow that goes all the way across my spine. I have a bear there. That's my favourite. The bear. I have an owl here. I have a raccoon there. I have a fox there. I have a Triceratops there. And I have... Actually, I really love this one. I have like a T-Rex there. I think that's all I have. So, there you go. Is that all I have? Well, minor 7 sharp 5, like... that's what made Sean. He does it. Sean never sounded like a robot. And there are guys like, make fun of Lucas Mann all the time, but like his goal is to try and sound as much like a robot as possible. And Sean just didn't. And there's a reason when you listen to Sean, like it sounds like, you just love it, right? Yeah, so let's have a look. Captain is the business behind Chappers. Personality, Captain was able to leverage into moving cheap guitars. Chapper's first attempt at guitars was hand-built by a luthier. There's sort of half-truth to that. There's half-truths to some of that. The first Chapmans that were mass-released were the the ML series, and they were stinkers. Anderton's had to offer a free refret. Or was it just a fret dress? Might have been a fret dress, but they came out absolutely stinking. He did collaborate with like Jaden Rose on releasing stuff, but it just wasn't practical. Wasn't practical at all. He also had there were talks of him collaborating with Patrick Hufschmid again. There's the guy that you want to talk to if you want all the dirt on Chappers. Patrick doesn't have many nice things to say about him. And Patrick's very easy to get talking. Is the bear my spirit animal? Yeah. I feel like a bear a lot of the time. How much money would patrons have to donate to get face of Rob Chapman? The thing that I'm sure everybody knows about me is that my opinion can't be bought. I can't be bought. There is no price high enough to buy my opinion. But after I say that, there's probably a price high enough to buy my opinion when comparing it to the idea of getting Rob Chapman tattooed on me. I've got a lot of ink, Jesse, yeah. It's funny because I fucking hate getting tattooed. I'm terrible at getting tattooed. Butt cheeks. Do I watch Marshall Harrison? I used to watch Marshall Harrison. Marshall's a great example of what we were talking about earlier, which is certainly when I was younger as well, I used to find great players and I'd go, cool, love what you're doing, can't wait to hear you use it onto music. And then eventually Marshall released an album. Presto Digitization, it was called. I have it on CD. It was garbage. It was like a steaming pile of shit. It just sounded like someone that had read every single book that had ever existed on music but had never heard any. The musical output on that album was just so... It was like a different stage of evolution compared to what he's capable of in the instrument from his YouTube videos, which I thought was a shame. There's a track on there like called Dr. Z. That's just like a boring jam, and there's a blues like with singing on it, and it's just not what anyone ever wanted from a Marshall Harrison album. And it was so disappointing I didn't even bother. See what Minor 7 Sharp 5 talks about there. He had another album that was classical etudes, second album that was all classical etudes, but because the first one just did upset me so much, I had no interest in giving him more money. So Sebastian Grimes was gifted the Sheet Happens tabs as an early Christmas present. How is some of that even physically possible? It's a good question. He's fucking great, yeah. Oh, this is an interesting question. Can't believe that for all my 4 years of guitar playing, I've never touched another guitar than your Fender Telecaster. Is there a big difference? For example, an Ibanez or a Suhr. Yeah, huge difference. Those types of guitars play very differently. That doesn't mean that they're better. They just play very differently. My Fender is my home. I love that guitar. If I need a shred guitar, I've got some great shred guitars. My Fender is not really set up to shred on. It's set up to play slide on and do all of that type of thing. It's my all-round guitar. But a guitar that is designed with that type of playing in mind, they are sights to behold. I'm not crazy on like the Ibanez Wizard necks, but and I don't really think of the Suhrs as being particularly shreddy guitars. But like my Vigier, my red Vigier, that is a fast guitar. Nigel Peppercock. I know what you're talking about there. Marshall is an interesting guy. I can't read if he's a genuine or very selfish guy. I don't think that he's selfish. I just think that he's majorly on the spectrum. What do I think of Marshall's Swybrid technique? Yeah, fantastic. As with all of Marshall's technical stuff, he's just technically incredibly sound. A fascinating player to look at to study from a technical perspective. His level of economy on the instrument is just second to none. He's just got some of the most relaxed technique that you're ever going to see or hear, which is cool. I don't like PRS, no. Juan Carlos. Though saying that, if I go, there is definitely examples of me playing PRS. Let's have a look. Yeah, there we go. There you go, me playing a PRS. The story behind this was this was a short period when I was living in Scotland and I travelled down to Lick Library to do stuff. And there was a short period where I wasn't taking a guitar with me because I was flying, and it's easier to take a train and you can bring a guitar with you, no problem. But when you fly, bringing a guitar becomes more cost prohibitive. So I just thought, you know what, fuck it, I won't take a guitar with me. I will just find whatever guitars were kicking around the Lick Library studio and I'll play those. And this one had always been sitting around and I liked the look of it. I didn't like the way it played, but yeah. So there you go. That's me playing a PRS. I don't, I'm going to go with all of the cliche. The scale length doesn't feel quite right to me. For the shred stuff, that's only got 22 frets. In fact, I need to tap the 24th fret. I do tap the 24th fret there and hit the pickup at the end of that particular solo. So, yeah. PRS guitars just never felt right to me, is what I'd say. Oh, Robert, what a question. Any guitars that I have my eyes on? Yes. A bunch of things, actually. But I'm trying not to buy anything. I was just sent the new Ibanez catalogue. There is a guitar in there that I won't mention now, but I may pick up next year if I can get the right deal on it. I constantly have my eyes on Telecasters, much like yourself, who wanted to get an older Telecaster. An older Stratocaster. I really, really want to get an old Telecaster, a vintage, a pre-CBS Telecaster. I would really, 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 really like a 53 Tele because Danny Gatton's main guitar was a 53 Tele. But, I would take any old Telecaster. Outside of that, my buddy Carson Hess, he makes the most beautiful Telecasters that I've ever seen. Like metallic paisley colours and shit. I put one on the cover of one of my country books, actually. And yeah, I'd love to have him make me a guitar. I've just obviously had to spend a fucking fortune putting this studio together. So the budget to buy something like that is way out, off base of what's possible right now. I would like to get an old Martin, because then I could sit and not play bluegrass very well more. But no, honestly, it's mainly Telecasters. I would like I'd like another Ormsby. I would like another Mayonnaise. Yeah, so I want one of the Godin multi-act Gypsy Jazz guitars. One of those would be cool to have. There's just too many guitars. But what I'm getting really good at is not buying guitars. I own nowhere near as many guitars as you, I'm sure. I have 15 guitars. And too many of them just sit around and don't get played. And I think that's a shame. Like, I've got a really nice Sur Telecaster. It just never gets played. And that's a really expensive guitar to just have sitting around and not getting used. So yeah, maybe a TTM, maybe a Chapman. I don't own a single guitar with a tremolo. Of all the guitars, not one guitar that has a tremolo on it. So I might consider getting a guitar with a tremolo next year, but we'll see. So I really like that question. I can absolutely talk about that all day long. But yeah, it's really more a case of guitars that I'm trying to avoid buying. Mine's 7 Sharp 5. I've been playing Ambali stuff on my telly for 2 years now, and I always wonder if an Ibanez would make it easier. Absolutely would make it easier. Not endorsed by TTM. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sure that will get sent to Marshall. I don't think he's a fan of mine. Speaking of TTM, consider the Levi Clay extortionist shirt. Oh, what a classic. Robert Baker, do I find myself having moments where you forget your studio is done? Yes. Yes, and the example for that is I won't spin the camera around now, right? But there's shit everywhere on the floor. There's offcuts of carpet that are all bunched up. There's t-shirts on the floor over there. There's a bag of tools. There's boxes with stuff that need to be sorted, right? There's old DVD racks over there that need to go to the dump because I got new speaker stands, etc. There's all this stuff in here, and really I could start moving it all out and tidying everything up and making everything start looking immaculate. But in my mind, it's not done yet because I still got to get the hangers up. So yeah, I tell you what, it's depressing actually, Robert. Like, and you'll know this, right? That feeling of when a huge project is finally done, you get to the end of it and it's done, and you're like, well, what now? You know, this project has been such a huge part of my life for such a long period of time now. It's consumed my brain every waking moment for months and months on end, and now it's just not there anymore. What do I devote that free time, that free brain space to? There's no answer to it. So I guess, yeah, I'm subconsciously trying to convince myself that the studio is not really done. And to go back to what you said about guitars, what I actually want to be spending more money on is amps, because I don't own enough really nice amps. I own loads of really nice guitars, so I'd like some more really nice amps. So there we go. Brett, I can only get along with the pattern thin neck. Which one, Brett? Yeah, Taranto can play on anything. Why am I showing Rob Chapman playing PRS? Fuck off. That was just the only one that I played. I think if I dig around, there are a few more Lick Library things that I did playing a couple of different PRSs. Because Lick Library have a good relationship with PRS, so there was always one or two of those kicking around in the studio. So there's one or two videos of me playing PRS, but yeah, they're not really my they're just not my cup of tea. No. Is it an Ibanez AZ? Technically yes, technically no. Oh, I like this. Been learning a Molly Tuttle song using one of my transcriptions. My one note string playing is atrocious. Yeah, so that would be the cracking the code stuff. Yeah, the like White Freightliner was one of the tunes that I transcribed for that. She's great. She's absolutely great. Could I transcribe Nigel Peppercock? I mean, I could. Probably won't. An old telly is on Robert's list. He's a man of impeccable taste. I mean, we already knew that. Have any experience with G&L? Yes, I quite like the G&L stuff, but not enough for it to be like my go-to thing. There was a period in my career where I didn't want to play the guitars that everyone else was playing, which is why I stopped playing Suhr, and I ended up playing Vigier. But there was a period where I was playing Gibson stuff. I wanted that to like be my thing. And there were a few brands that I was considering when I was looking to go back to like brand loyalty and working a little bit more with a brand. And G&L I certainly looked at. Another company that I did spend a lot of time considering was Godin. I really like the Godin stuff. Yeah. So yeah, but I ended up going with Vigier because, well, I have a long history with that red guitar. Ibanez has a couple of videos of 2020 guitars on their channel now, a Burl RG and a multi-scale headless bass. Yep, I could bring up the catalogue. Well, I couldn't actually because I'd be breaking an embargo if I did that. Justin, I had someone tell me that you picking strings is all for show and you don't need to use your picking hand at all. Well, some people are stupid. Try and tell that to a bluegrass player, right? Do I think that vintage gear is worth the money? Do I think vintage gear is worth the money? Vintage gear is definitely worth the money. If you pay 10 grand for a guitar, don't expect it to sound 8 grand better than a 2 grand guitar, but it's still worth the money in the sense that if you buy a 10 grand guitar, it's never ever going to be worth less than 10 grand. You know what I mean? It's always going to maintain that value. It's going to become more valuable over time. So in that respect, it's worth the money as an investment. But yeah. Outside of work, videos and transcription and stuff, what am I listening to for music? Just casual listening. What's the Levi Clay playlist look like? I've been listening to a lot of Devin Townsend over the last couple of weeks. His last album, Empath, really hit me at the right time and place because it was it's about depression and getting over depression, and I'd been having a really tough time. I've been having a tough time over the last couple of months, and that album, like if you put the song Why on YouTube, the video for it, I was having a really bad day. Like I hadn't felt that down in a long time, and I was going to see Devon, and I was trying to convince my wife to come. So I put on that song, and I hadn't heard it yet. I hadn't seen the video for it yet, and I put it on and watched it, and it started out, and I wasn't really sure what I was watching, and wasn't convinced that she was going to be enjoying it. But I found that I was just captivated by it, and I just stared at the screen, and it wasn't a smile, but it was like a feeling of wonderment just came over my face, like the wide eyes of a child. It just completely grabbed me, and then since then I've been listening to a shit ton of Devon to kind of feed that itch. I'm looking at my rotation on Spotify, things that I've been listening to a lot of recently. Symphony X, because I'm always listening to a lot of Symphony X. The Way Forward, the Intervals album, that appears in there. Meshuggah appears in here a reasonable amount. A couple of spins of the new Opeth album, that's in there. For some reason I was listening to a lot of Disturbed. Why not? So there you go, there's a few things. Russell Bannister, what is the most expensive guitar I own? I own a Mayonnaise Evertune True Temperament guitar. It was a custom shop Mayonnaise that was made for me. It has a custom finish on it. It's a really nice, True Temperament frets and Evertune bridge and all of that shit. It's a really, really cool guitar. If you wanted to order one, you'd probably be looking at about £5,000. So that. How about Strandberg? Quality worth the money. I really like the look of the new ones, the neck through ones. I really like the look of the neck through ones. I love the stuff that Ola's been doing for years. How many amps do I own? I own. I'm just going to go with 2. I've just seen... What the fuck is this? Who are you? What is this? Blow with the Fires by Racer X. This can't be an actual... It's not actual Racer X. It's listed under the artist Racer X. Sorry, got carried away. Let's go with 2. Let's go with 2. My Rev and my Fender Bassman. So I'd like more. Did I ever transcribe from Jimmy Rosenberg? He lives in the same city as you. Oh, cool. Jimmy, yeah, he's my absolute favourite gypsy jazz player. He's just outrageous. He's currently working with Dennis over at DC Music Schools on a new record. Looking forward to seeing that. Dennis will transcribe it, but I've transcribed a fair amount of Jimmy Rosenberg. We did Jimmy Rosenberg as part of my Patreon group very early on, so going back a good few years now. Let's have a look. What did we do? Did we do Blue Bossa? 2017. So here's some Jimmy that we did. Yeah, this was literally done for Patreon. You get the idea. So yeah, I've done a bunch of his stuff. There's a great recording of Cherokee. I remember doing that. So big Jimmy fan. Do I use a task manager at all? I started using one this year. It was a game changer for you. A task manager. I'm not even really sure what you mean by that, Robert. I'm a very unorganised person. Very unorganised person. Slightly tongue-in-cheek question. Do I think being a musician still attracts girls? I don't know. When I was younger and I was playing music, I started playing music for a girl, obviously, and it certainly helped. It certainly helped me be the young, romantically successful person that I was as a young person. Then you get older and you tend to find that you cross a certain age and suddenly meeting a guy that plays in a band goes from being really, really cool to a woman to really uncool. I think if I was out playing in bands, my wife probably wouldn't be my wife. She'd probably go for somebody that grew up a little bit more. So probably not. I think playing guitar just in general is a bit old. Jesse, sorry for the rough months. Glad that there was music that was able to help. Definitely going to check out that DT video. See, I see DT and I'm used to thinking Dream Theater, but you mean Devon Townsend. Had some dark days as of late, and it might help. Thanks. Yeah, that video is just outrageous. Devon is just immensely talented. He can just connect emotionally with listeners, and that I like that. So yeah, much respect to Devon. Sabotage, Sleep, Tunes, Symphony X, the Dons. How do you clean very washy guitar parts to hear them correctly? Tons of delay and reverb, etc. That's a really cool question, and the answer to that is a very simple one. You don't do anything to them. You try not to do anything to them. You know, when you hear something with reverb on it, you have to understand. You'll understand the perspective of, like, I know what it would sound like to turn a reverb pedal on. I know if I was playing the guitar, I know how to make the sound that I'm hearing. But sometimes things can be just buried in a mix to the point where, fortunately, I'm busy enough now where I don't need to. I don't need to take on jobs that are more work than they need to be. So if something's really buried in the mix, I don't mind saying to a client, no, not worth it. Just seeing that Robert's heading out, so I'm going to say goodbye to him. Get out, have a great night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, Robert. Really appreciate it. And let's collab on something soon. Let me piggyback off of your success, please. Does Jimmy alternate pick all that crazy arpeggio stuff, or does he use rest strokes? He uses rest strokes. He uses authentic gypsy jazz technique. So crossing strings would almost always use a downstroke, ascending or descending. He doesn't have a shit ton of instructional material, but you know that Rosenberg style of playing, the cello Rosenberg, he has a great instructional series of stuff that can be purchased. Study that stuff. My favourite mode, you like Mixolydian Flat 6? I really like Mixolydian Flat 6. I really like Mixolydian Flat 6, to be honest, but I want to say Mixolydian just because I use it all the time, you know, just from playing all the country stuff. But if I want to add a little bit of Jimmy Herring into proceedings, a little bit Lydian dominant in your lines. Have I ever injured myself playing guitar? I have bad wrists. I think let's try. Let's see if I can do the click. Ready? There we go. We've got a click. My wrists are absolutely shot. It's not really from guitar. It's from mouse, keyboard, guitar, mouse, keyboard, guitar, round and round and round. That's not been good for me. But no, nothing serious. Nothing serious. I find minor 7 sharp 5 as I get older, I'd like to dial back my note choice. play fewer notes. I don't think in terms of scales. I was thinking in terms of, I think, stacked intervals. So I think more harmonically rather than linearly. Would that be a phrase? So like major pentatonic. I use major pentatonic, more than anything. And then I might add other intervals to that you might then go, okay, that's Mixolydian or whatever. But I'm just as likely to add, the 4 and the flat 5 to that major pentatonic sound, and then it's like, well, what are we doing here? Have we got Lydian dominant? Have we got Mixolydian? There's too many options. I am happy. I am even happier now, thanks to your generous donation. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. I'm going to sneeze. Diminished runs are cool. I suck at diminished. I've said this for years. I suck at diminished. Lydian dominant, yeah. If you play Gypsy Jazz, you're going to be dealing in Phrygian dominant, which is harmonic minor, mode of harmonic minor. Would I ever transcribe animals as leaders? I'd rather not. I'd really rather not. I actually need to speak to Kieran K-Mac 2021. He needs his new EP Transcribing. So I'll be doing that soon. But that'll be easy because I'll just, I'll go over to his house. I will pick him up and I will bring him to my studio and I will say, right, let's do this together in 10 minutes. Good way of approaching it. There's some other players as well. If target tones, yep. Nice voice in the studio. Thank you very much, Hal. You could always do voiceovers for infomercials. Have you been involved in an accident that wasn't your fault? Call us free. You may be entitled to compensation. Once, long ago, I was asked about doing voiceover work for someone. They had a product and they didn't want me to make a video of it. They literally had a script and they wanted me to read it. And that didn't come together. I don't know. Why would anyone want my voice on something? There's too much London in my voice. I speak too fucking London, I've got too much fucking slang. I speak a little bit too fucking Essex, a little bit too fucking Romford, a little bit too fucking Suffolk, a little bit, I fucking grew up in Suffolk, didn't I? Went to college in Essex, lived in London for 10 years. No one wants to hear me talk like this. I try to be a little bit more eloquent now. I live in Scotland though, so I'm unbelievably eloquent compared to everyone around me. I'm not a Tosin fan. They do have official tabs. I've definitely seen some of the official tabs, but they don't do those. Tosin doesn't do them, and he's a dire fucking improviser. No, it was a guitar product that they wanted me to do voiceover work for. It was guitar. It just reminded me. Leave me alone, Teespring. Oh, hello. I like it when Teespring send me stuff like this. There you go. I should go to bed. I am going to go to bed. when I was just trying to do a voiceover for an ad there, so many things popped into my head. I didn't really know what to talk about. Are you looking for that perfect slide tone? Then check out Star Singer Slides. Available from Glastonbury in the UK, these unique ceramic, one-of-a-kind handcrafted slides all come with a unique crackle finish. Star Singer Slides. Get rockin'. Is that a voiceover? Minus 7 sharp 5, you've said check out this solo, and then you've said from 3:30. You can't post links in the chat. They'll automatically be blocked by YouTube. So, soz. You'll have to email it to me, and eventually I'll probably do what I did last time and not actually do it as a job, but just randomly do it on YouTube. Right, I am going to log off in just 5 minutes, so get your final questions in, anything you want to ask. I'm going to get these Stephen Taranto licks uploaded to my Patreon page. Are you looking for a pile of shit to play guitar with? Then consider purchasing yourself a TTM or potentially a Chapman. Crapman. Snake oil. What are the levels like when I speak here? I have to be completely honest, guys. I am really looking forward to doing a Guitar Souls podcast in this room now with the sound treatment, because things sound direct, things sound good. Things are going to be even better next time. Worst Metallica album? Reload? When would I think about using whole half and half whole? You think about using whole half and half whole. You have to think about them harmonically. You're still thinking linearly. Linearly is the word. I'm still not entirely sure if we've decided that linearly is a word. But if you think in terms of whole half and half whole and what they are in terms of the sound, you say half whole, I say 13 flat 9. Because when you stack the intervals of the half whole scale on top of each other, you get a 13 flat 9 chord. When you stack the whole half scale, you get a diminished scale, but it also has a major 7 in there, which is, it's more of a passing tone. But yeah, so I would use whole half when I'm looking to get a straight diminished 7 chord sound, and I would use half whole when I'm looking to imply a 13 flat 9 sound. So there you go, there's your answer. What would I do with my life if I weren't interested in music? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I did physics, chemistry, English language, and maths. Those are my subjects. So I probably would have gone into maths or science or writing. I'm a writer, as you know. Was waiting for the part where you explained how you can hide your ounce in it. Not sure what that means. Taranto, legit. We knew he was legit. Have a good Christmas. I'm looking forward to having a good Christmas. You just need a good amp now. Now, after I've done all of the dodgy voiceover ads where I'm trying to be a little bit silly. Well, no, I did the Star Slinger slide one. I love my Star Slinger slide. Are you looking for modern cutting-edge tone? Then consider checking out Rev Amplification. Hand-built quality Hand-built quality amplifiers coming straight out of Canada. Yes, America's hat. Get yourself a Rev today. I have one with my face on it. Oh shit, Lulu. Yeah, Lulu. Has to be Lulu. A lot of people using tellies these days. Any correlation to my best guitar video? Yeah, I'm a big influencer. I'd like to think my opinion has an effect on the YouTube guitar community. Oh, I see. Slide. Yeah, I have I play so much slide that I have a slide holder on my strap. Canada's not America's hat. America's Canada's underpants. Everyone knows that. Favourite classical jazz player? Pat Metheny, John Scofield. You mean classic jazz player? Joe Pass. Joe Pass. All day long. You could probably hide an ounce of weed in my slide, but I don't smoke weed, so you have to talk to Mike about that. Derek Trucks is the guy that made me switch from drums to guitar. Yeah. Yeah, Derek Trucks is the fucking Don. I had a similar... I hate the word spiritual, but I'm going to use it anyway. A similar spiritual experience the first time I went to see Derek Trucks live. Very similar to the Devin Townsend impact. In fact, Devin Townsend and Derek Trucks are the two acts that I've seen where the music transcended sound and moved into something that hit me emotionally. Really touched me. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to log off now. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening to me talk bollocks for a while. I hope you learned something. I hope you learned some of these Steve Taranto licks. I hope you got inside his head a little bit, understand where some of his licks come from, at least where I think they come from. Here's an example of some of my awesome people on Patreon. I have 150 patrons now, which is unbelievable. I cannot thank you enough for your love and support. If you would like to support me on Patreon, you can do so by clicking the link in the description and support me for as little as $1. Gets you access to my private patron-only Facebook group. We have a lot of fun in there. So do that. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. My videos are still always going to be free. But you can also head on over to Amazon, search for Levi Clay, and you'll find some of my lovely books. And I appreciate you doing that. So thank you very much for that. What are the advantages of using different fingers with the slide? Depends who and what you're playing. I use the slide on different fingers for different things. If you want to play like Sonny Landreth and fret behind the slide, or Joey Landreth, you need the slide on the fourth finger. If you want to play like Brett Garsed, you need that slide on the second finger because he frets in front of the slide a lot. Home for me is on my third finger, but I can play with it on the second, third, or little finger. Absolutely fine. So yeah. Are there chords that I think sound great but can't play because the stretch is too big? No. I mean, first of all, I have massive hands. I play ridiculous chords with these hands. I take Joe Pass's approach to chords. If a chord takes me longer than a second to grip it, if it's more than a grip, if it's something that I can't just go to like that, then I don't want to play it. So I'm all about those grips. Called grips. Now, I play a lot of country, right? There's a lot... I don't like weed. Sorry. There's a lot of music that can be found with those boring grips because it's not the chords, it's not the lack of chord voicings that make people struggle and sound boring. It's the lack of creativity. I did the triad video lesson. You can get so much musical content out of triads, but people don't. They learn one or two triads and then they move on. And I'm constantly about, well, why don't we explore these triads and why don't we do them to the point you can do crazy, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So, yeah. I will answer your question, -7 from Sharp 5, and I will leave then. So, what is in it for me joining Patreon? I would love to give you money, but I'm a poor uni student. Well, first up, didn't you want me to transcribe Frank Ambali stuff? Didn't you say you'd pay over the standard rate because you wanted that bad? What's in it for you for joining Patreon? For $1, you'll get access to my private Facebook group. $1. Private Facebook group. You can engage with me. You can engage with over 100 other people that are all interested in learning about transcription. They're all interested in sharing videos and looking at each other's work, and, you know, a nice little community of good people. So that's the main thing that's in it for you. You can access all of my tab downloads, though, at the $5 tier. You can get credited in $10 tier. You can get access to my study club stream, which is a private stream for study club people where we practice, play, talk about books, etc. And you can get private lessons with me. So lots of options. Check it out. Right. One last time. Thank you so much. Much love. I will see you for another stream. Enjoy your holidays. Go spend it with loved ones. Go and tell them how much they mean to you. Give them a hug. Give them a kiss. I was going to say tell them that give them my love, but they don't know who I am. So maybe don't do that. But enjoy your holidays. Eat lots of turkey. And I will see you very soon for another video. Much love.